Hey everyone, April 8th is coming up fast, and whether you're preparing for a predicted grid failure, a major solar event, or just want to be ready for whatever curveball gets thrown our way, this video is going to walk you through exactly what you need to have on hand before that date arrives. I'm going to cover everything from water storage to communication devices, food supplies to power alternatives, and all the little details that most people completely overlook until it's too late. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because you're going to want to stay updated on preparedness content that could literally save your life when things go sideways. Let's start with the absolute foundation of survival, and that's water. You can go weeks without food, but only days without water. So this is priority number one. The general rule is 1 gallon per person per day, and you want at least a 2-week supply minimum, though 3 weeks to a month is even better. That means if you've got a family of 4, you're looking at 56 gallons for 2 weeks. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of water to store, and you're right. But here's the thing. You can't compromise on this. Get those 5-gallon jugs from the hardware store, fill up every container you have, and don't forget about your bathtub. You can fill that up right before April 8th as an emergency reserve. Grab some water purification tablets too, because if the grid goes down for an extended period, you'll need to make questionable water safe to drink. Now, a good portable water filter like the ones designed for camping can filter thousands of gallons and should absolutely be on your list. Bleach works too for purification. Just a couple drops per gallon, but make sure it's unscented and check the sodium hypochlorite percentage. Next up, let's talk about food. And I'm not talking about your regular groceries that'll spoil in 3 days without refrigeration. You need shelf-stable items that require little to no cooking, because you might not have power for your stove or microwave. Think canned goods, dried beans, rice, pasta, peanut butter, crackers, protein bars, dried fruits, nuts, and don't forget about comfort foods because morale matters when you're in survival mode. Get a manual can opener because an electric one is useless when the power's out, and yes, I've heard stories of people forgetting this basic tool and struggling to open their food supply. Stock up on items your family actually eats, not just random survival food you found on sale because the last thing you want is picky eaters refusing to eat during an emergency. Rotate your stock so nothing expires, and consider getting some freeze-dried meals designed and bottled for emergencies since they last 25 years and just need hot water. If you've got babies or special dietary needs in your household, make absolutely sure you have enough formula, baby food, or whatever specific items are necessary. Now let's address the power situation because when the grid goes down, you're going to be in the dark unless you prepare ahead of time. Flashlights are obvious, but here's what most people don't think about. Batteries die. So you need rechargeable options or alternatives. Get yourself some solar-powered lights and lanterns that charge during the day. Headlamps are incredibly useful because they keep your hands free for whatever you need to do. Candles work, but they're a fire hazard, so use them carefully and never leave them unattended. For actual power generation, if you can afford it, a solar generator setup is gold. I'm talking about those portable power stations with solar panels that can charge your devices and run small appliances. They've come down in price significantly and can be a game changer. If that's outside your budget, at least get some portable battery banks fully charged and ready to keep your phone and other critical devices running. A hand crank radio with a built-in flashlight and phone charger is another multi-purpose tool worth having. But communication is something that gets overlooked until people realize their cell phones are bricks without power or cell towers. Even if you've got a way to charge your phone, there's no guarantee the cellular network will be functioning. Keep a battery-powered or hand crank emergency radio so you can get weather updates and news about what's happening. If you're serious about communication, look into ham radio or at minimum some walkie-talkies with a decent range so you can communicate with family members or neighbors. Write down important phone numbers on actual paper because nobody memorizes numbers anymore. And if your phone dies, you'll have no way to contact people. Create a family communication plan with a designated out-of-state contact person since local lines might be jammed, but long distance sometimes works. Now make copies of important documents and store them in waterproof bags. Let's talk about heating and cooling because depending on where you live, temperature can become life-threatening fast without power. If it's still chilly in April where you are, you need a way to stay warm without electricity. That means layering clothes, having plenty of blankets, And if possible, a safe indoor heating alternative like a propane heater designed for indoor use with proper ventilation. Sleeping bags rated for cold weather are excellent. If you've got a fireplace, make sure you have firewood stocked up and that your chimney is clean. For those in warmer climates, staying cool without AC means good ventilation, staying hydrated, and dampening cloth to put on your skin. Battery-operated fans can help, but they drain batteries quickly. Now, personal hygiene and sanitation might not seem critical, but it becomes a serious issue fast when the grid is down. If the water system fails, toilets won't flush. You'll need heavy-duty garbage bags to line your toilet and create a makeshift waste system. Get some cat litter or sawdust to control odor and absorb moisture. Stock up on toilet paper, feminine hygiene products, soap, hand sanitizer, toothpaste, and anything else you use daily. Wet wipes are incredibly useful when you can't shower. A bucket and some biodegradable soap can function as a washing system for clothes and dishes. Don't forget about trash bags because garbage is going to pile up, and you need to manage it properly to avoid attracting pests or creating health hazards. But medical supplies are absolutely critical and often the difference between a manageable situation and a disaster. Start with a comprehensive first aid kit that includes bandages, gauze, medical tape, antiseptic, pain relievers, antibiotic ointment, tweezers, scissors, and anything specific to your family's needs. If anyone in your household takes prescription medications, make sure you have at least a month's supply, ideally more. Talk to your doctor about emergency supplies. Stock up on over-the-counter medications like pain relievers, antihistamines, anti-diarrhea medicine, and anything else you might need. A good first aid manual is helpful if you need to treat injuries beyond basic cuts and scrapes. Include items for dental emergencies too, like temporary filling material and pain relief specifically for tooth pain. Security and self-defense is a sensitive topic, but it's reality that when the grid goes down and people get desperate, crime often increases. At minimum, secure your home with good locks and reinforce entry points. Keep curtains closed so people can't see what supplies you have inside. A battery-powered motion detector alarm for doors and windows adds a layer of security. Have a plan for defending your home and family that you're comfortable with, whether that's pepper spray, a baseball bat, or other means. The goal is to not advertise that you're prepared because that makes you a target. Keep a low profile, don't tell everyone about your supplies, and be smart about security lighting using your solar lights strategically. Tools and supplies for repairs and maintenance are going to be essential, because when something breaks, you can't just call a repair person or run to the store. A basic toolkit with screwdrivers, hammer, pliers, wrench set, and duct tape can fix a surprising number of problems. Tarps and plastic sheeting can patch roof leaks or broken windows. Rope and paracord have endless uses. A good knife or multi-tool is invaluable. Keep supplies for boarding up windows if needed. Have extra batteries, light bulbs that don't require power like oil lamps, and fire starting supplies including waterproof matches, lighters, and fire starters. Zip ties, bungee cords, and heavy-duty garbage bags solve countless problems. If you have a generator that runs on gas, make sure you have stabilized fuel stored safely and that your generator actually works before you need it. Finally, let's talk about the mental and emotional preparation, because this is the piece that almost nobody addresses, but it matters enormously. Being prepared with physical supplies is only half the battle. You need to mentally prepare yourself and your family for what a grid-down situation actually means. That means no internet, no streaming services, no video games, no scrolling through social media. Have books, board games, cards, and other entertainment that doesn't require power. This is especially important if you have kids who are used to constant electronic stimulation. Create a routine and stick to it because structure helps people cope with stress. Talk to your family now about what to expect, what the rules will be, and how you'll handle different scenarios. Practice some of these skills before April 8th, and do a trial run where you turn off your power for a day and see what challenges come up. This will reveal gaps in your preparation that you can fix now instead of discovering them in a real emergency. Keep spirits up, stay positive, and remember that humans are incredibly adaptable. Look, I know this seems like a lot, and maybe you're thinking this is overkill for something that might not even happen. But here's the reality. Being prepared isn't about living in fear. It's about taking control of what you can control so that if something does happen, you and your family are safe, comfortable, and secure while everyone else is panicking. Every single item I've mentioned serves multiple purposes and will be useful in any emergency, whether it's a grid failure on April 8th, a natural disaster, or any other crisis. The time to prepare is now, while stores are stocked and you're not competing with panicked crowds. Start with the basics like water and food, then work your way through the other categories based on your budget and situation. Even if you can't get everything on this list, having some preparation is infinitely better than having none. And remember, don't broadcast your preparedness to the world. Keep it quiet, help your immediate family and close friends get ready, but don't make yourself a target by advertising that you have supplies when others don't. Stay safe, stay smart, and make sure you're ready for whatever April 8th and beyond might bring. If this video helped you, make sure you're subscribed and share it with people you care about because we're all in this together. Now, and I want to take a moment to talk about something that's really important as you're building out your emergency kit, and that's thinking about the people around you and how you're going to handle community dynamics when things get tough. You might be sitting on supplies that could help your neighbors, and you'll need to make some hard decisions about what you're willing to share and what you need to keep for your own family's survival. This isn't about being selfish, it's about understanding your limitations and being realistic about what you can sustain. If you give away half your food supply to help others, you might end up in a survival situation yourself. That said, having some extra supplies specifically designated for helping others, maybe 10 or 20% more than you think you'll need, allows you to be compassionate without jeopardizing your family. Think about elderly neighbors, families with young kids, or people living alone who might be in real danger if the grid goes down for an extended period. You don't have to save everyone, but you can be a positive force in your community. Another thing to consider as you're getting ready is your pets and any animals you might have. If you have dogs, cats, birds, or other animals depending on you, they need to be included in your emergency planning. Stock up on extra pet food, medications if your pets are on any, and supplies like litter boxes or pads for accidents. Having a safe carrier for each pet is important in case you need to evacuate or move to a different part of your home. Make sure your pets have ID and that you have recent photos in case they get lost. Keep vaccination records accessible because if you need veterinary care during an emergency, you'll want documentation ready. During a grid down situation, pets can become stressed just like people do, so having their routine items available helps keep them calm and secure. Let me also address something that people often don't think about until it's too late, and that's your specific location and how it might be affected differently than other places. If you live in an urban area, you're going to face different challenges than someone in a rural area. Urban dwellers need to think about potential civil unrest, crowded conditions, limited space for supplies, and difficulty getting out if things get dangerous. Rural residents might face challenges with isolation, longer distances to help, limited access to stores even in normal times, and potentially dangerous wildlife. Suburban folks might find themselves stuck somewhere in the middle. Understanding your specific environment means you can tailor your preparation to what's most likely to affect you. If you're in a flood zone, you need elevation plans and waterproof storage. If you're in a wildfire area, you need evacuation supplies ready to go. If you're in a cold climate, heating is absolutely critical. If you're coastal, you might need to consider hurricane or tsunami preparedness. Do a realistic assessment of your location's specific risks and prepare accordingly. Something else that's really valuable to think about is creating a bug-out bag, even if you're planning to shelter in place. And a bug-out bag is essentially a portable emergency kit that you can grab and go with if you need to evacuate quickly for any reason. It should include copies of important documents, some cash and small bills, medications, a change of clothes, sturdy shoes, a basic first aid kit, a flashlight, some high-calorie snacks, a water bottle and purification tablets, a knife or multi-tool, and anything else that's critical to your survival. Keep this bag packed and accessible, not buried in a closet where you'd forget about it. If you have family members or roommates, make sure everyone knows where the bag is and has one of their own. Ideally, store important documents like passports, birth certificates, property deeds, insurance papers, and medical records in a fireproof, waterproof safe, and keep copies in your bug-out bag. This way, even if your home is compromised, you've got what you need to rebuild. I also want to emphasize the importance of having multiple redundancies for critical items. Don't just have one flashlight, have several. Don't have one water filter, have backups. Don't store all your medications in one place. This principle of redundancy applies across your whole emergency preparation. If one solar charger fails, you've got another. If one communication device stops working, you've got a backup. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being smart and understanding that equipment fails, batteries die, and sometimes things just don't work when you need them to. Having multiple ways to accomplish critical tasks means you're not dependent on a single point of failure. This applies to heating, lighting, water purification, communication, and power generation. Build in layers of redundancy wherever it's practical and fits your budget. Now let's talk about the financial aspect of all this, because I know emergency preparation can feel expensive, especially if you're trying to build out a comprehensive kit. The good news is that you don't have to buy everything at once. Start with a budget that works for you, maybe $50 a month or whatever you can afford, and build gradually. Focus on the most critical items first, water and food, then work your way through the other categories. Buy things that you'd use anyway, like canned goods or batteries, and just store a little extra. Many of the items on this list can be found at regular stores, not specialty survival shops. You don't need fancy expensive gear to be prepared. A regular flashlight works just as well as a tactical one. Basic canned goods from your regular grocery store are perfect for emergency storage. A hand crank radio from a hardware store is just as functional as one from a survival website. The key is starting now and being consistent, rather than waiting until the last minute and having to pay premium prices because everyone else is panicking. Set up a reasonable timeline for your preparation. If April 8th is your target date, work backwards and figure out what you can accomplish each week. Make it a family project where everyone contributes and understands why you're doing this. I want to touch on something that's often overlooked, and that's keeping a detailed inventory of what you've stored and where you've stored it. Write down what supplies you have, how much, where it's located, and when it expires, if applicable. Keep this list somewhere accessible like a notebook or a file on your computer. Update it regularly as you add items or rotate stock. This sounds tedious, but when you actually need something, being able to quickly find it is incredibly valuable. You don't want to be spending precious time searching through your storage trying to find that first aid kit or the water purification tablets. An organized system also helps you avoid buying duplicate items you've already stockpiled or forgetting about things you've stored and letting them expire unused. One more practical thing to consider is learning some basic skills before you actually need them. You can't just watch a video on how to start a fire and expect to do it successfully in an emergency. Practice building a fire with your camping equipment or in a fireplace. Learn how to properly use your water filters and solar chargers. Practice cooking on a camping stove or over a fire. Learn basic first aid techniques and actually understand how to use the items in your first aid kit. If you have a generator, learn how to operate it safely. Know how to turn off your gas and water if you need to. These practical skills combined with your supplies make you actually prepared instead of just owning a bunch of stuff. Skills can't be purchased or delivered, they require time and practice. The time to build these skills is now while you're not stressed and you have time to learn properly. Even just an hour or two of practice with critical survival skills can make an enormous difference in how effective your preparation actually is. Finally, and as we wrap this up, I want to reiterate that preparation is about peace of mind and taking responsibility for yourself and your family's safety. It's not about living in constant fear or believing that civilization is about to collapse. It's about acknowledging that disruptions happen, that emergencies are a normal part of life, and that being ready gives you options and security that most people don't have. When April 8th comes and goes, you're not going to regret having extra supplies, extra water, and having practiced some emergency skills. Even if nothing happens on that specific date, the preparation you've done protects you against any number of other potential emergencies that could occur. Natural disasters happen, infrastructure fails, supply chains get disrupted, and medical emergencies occur. Now, having an emergency kit ready means you're prepared for all of it. You've taken control of what you can control, and that's an incredibly empowering feeling. Start today, don't wait for tomorrow, and take it one step at a time. You've got this. And remember that being prepared isn't something you should feel embarrassed about. It's intelligent, responsible, and it shows that you care about the well being of yourself and the people you love.